So Dom and I had played a gig in St. Louis, Missouri. This was like 3 years ago. We had played a gig and stayed up super late partying or whatever, and had like an early flight the next day to Chicago. And
first time in Chicago.
First time ever going to Chicago. We were flying there, not making any money. You know, we were just like trying to, you know, build this thing. We were opening for a good friend's band, and we're at the airport early. We're both just like super beat up from the night before. We're on a Southwest flight, so you show up, you get to pick your own seat.
Yeah.
You guys know the deal. So we're on the plane. Dom and I are like sitting, you know, next to each other with the middle seat empty. And the plane's like literally, it's about to leave. Like it's almost done, and we're psyched because we're like, yes, we got the middle seat. We did the backpack trick. You know, nobody caught it. And then all of a sudden, this like huge dude comes walking down the aisle.
Yeah.
Massive guy, and we're like, oh shit. And he kind of stops by us and like kind of giggles, and then he's
smiles.
Like, smiles at us. He's like, I'm gonna sit by these two dudes.
Yeah.
And then he
comes
in, the two skinny guys. He comes in and sits down, and you know, he's like, we're both like leaning in over our seat. He's like, you know, coming into our seats, but he's like really seemed like a funny dude, and starts kind of chit chatting and saying that he smelled weed or something like that.
Yeah.
and what we were sitting there, and you like, he
I
kind of had his hands open.
Yeah, I noticed like he had this like football ring, you know, like a Super Bowl ring on, and I was like, oh shit. Like,
but he had it turned in.
He had it turned upside down, and I was like, well, is that a Super Bowl ring or whatever? He's like, yeah, and then he's like, you know, I don't really turn around. And it's this guy, Roland Williams, who played with the Raiders, and then he played for St. Louis, and then he like sportscaster anyways. So you're talking, you know, blah, blah, we're in band, and you know, just had a good conversation. I was like, oh, I'll send you our music, blah, blah. I listened to some of it, like, oh shit, like I didn't know, you know, whatever. And so anyways, we land, and so again, Chicago, this gig, we had nowhere to stay, no ride. We were gonna take the train and like hopefully stay with some friends, blah, blah, blah. And walking down to baggage claim, and he's kind of like, well, where are y'all staying? And we're like, we don't really know. There with his publicist, and like they end up having an extra room. We had no ride. He gave us a ride, like style us out in this huge hotel. Like we had nothing really.
And then we
ended up in this like huge corner suite, and like got completely styled out by these guys. Took care of us, and then, you know, had a great gig, and now, you know, now we're doing like New Year's in Chicago, Aragon, you know, big step up a couple years ago or whatever. So,
and he ended up, when we checked in, they had like an extra room somehow, and we literally got this crazy suite that had like a living room and like a chandelier and this other room, and then Roland had like a normal hotel room. He's like, how did y'all end up with this shit?
Yeah.
He's seriously one of the nicest guys.
Yeah.
We keep in touch with him. We try and get him to come out to shows, and just to get him, I don't even know, get him on stage or something.
Yeah.